Yeah, this is just a quick lesson on the word stranger. Elder Gabar just did a lesson on the Masoretes and basically on their deceptive ways of changing the Torah. And I know about maybe about a couple of years back, I had did something on the Masoretes, and pretty much we touched it on the same lines, basically the same word stranger. And Elder Gabar went into showing you certain places in the scriptures where they changed the word gar to nakar and vice versa, the word nakar into gar. And when you read the scriptures, if you put the right context of the word in the scripture, you can see whether it was talking about an Israelite foreigner or if it was talking about an actual stranger, which he covered that. Now, I just wanted to do a little something quick on the word stranger here in the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter, which is the ordinance or the laws concerning the Passover. And I'm going to read it real quick and go through some of the Hebrew on the word stranger and foreign, as you see here, just to show you that in this particular scripture here in Exodus the 12th chapter, it has it correct. They didn't corrupt this part of the scriptures, but they did corrupt some of the other ones. And if you can understand this, this would be like a guideline, to all the other scriptures where the word gar or nakar would appear, whether it was to receive mercy for the stranger, which is an Israelite foreigner, or to condemn the stranger or give him bad food or lend unto him upon usury, to show you that it was talking about an actual foreigner or actual stranger. So let's begin. Exodus 12 and 43 to verse 49. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. This is where the scripture get knowledge, and with all that get understanding, that's where this comes into place. Now we're going to go through this scripture here in the Hebrew to show you that this particular stranger was talking about the other nations. The strangers were not supposed to eat the Passover. But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. Now this is talking about an Israelite servant. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. See, so now foreigner, this is talking about the other nations, and a hired servant among the other nations shall not eat thereof. So you see how it goes back and forth. It seems confusing, but when you understand the Hebrew, which a lot of guys out there don't want to touch on, when you understand the Hebrew, then you understand the scripture perfectly. In one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall you break a bone thereof, and all the congregation of Israel shall keep it. See, just the Israelites. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, now check this out. Up here it said this stranger couldn't eat. Now here it says, when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord. You see, so it seems like a contradiction, but if you understand the Hebrew, then you understand what this particular scripture is talking about. It's talking about the natural strangers versus the Israelite foreigners. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. Why? Because the people that were born in the land, which were the Israelites, they had certain customs and laws. And the strangers that were born, the Israelite foreigners that were strangers that were born in another land, they had other customs that they were keeping that were conflicting with the doctrine and the customs of those that were born in the land of Israel. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. All right, so now let's go to verse 43 in the Hebrew. This is Exodus 12 and 43 in the Hebrew. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. Now, when you look down here in the Hebrew, bun nakar. So no actual heathen can eat the Passover. Not one. See, bun nakar. Stranger eat thereof. No, there shall no stranger eat thereof. Now let's jump to the 45th verse. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. What do you have here? Tha washab. Now this is another word for an actual stranger. Okay? A heathen. The more popular one is nakar, but then this one, Tha washab, appears also. Remember, Elder Gabar read this in the lesson he just did, that there were five different examples in the Hebrew and in the Greek of the word stranger. So this particular stranger is actual someone of another nation that cannot eat the Passover. Thawashab. Now let's go to the 48th verse. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land. Why? Because now he's circumcised. Now he's following the customs again. Now he's brought back, sort of the prodigal son, so to speak. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So when it says, and when a stranger shall sojourn, you have here what? Ya gawar, stranger. Athka gar, sojourn. So really the word gar or stranger basically means a sojourner, meaning someone that lives with you, that came from a distinct country, from a strange country like an Israelite foreigner, and he came and he garred with you, or he sojourned with you. All right, so you got ya gawar and gar, stranger, sojourn. Okay, so this particular stranger can eat the Passover. Why? Because he's an Israelite foreigner. And now verse 49, one law shall be to him that is homeborn, to the Israelites that were born in the land, and unto the stranger or the Israelite foreigner that sojourneth among you, that came from another country, that was born in another country, that was keeping certain other customs, that came among you and was circumcised and was brought back to the fold, so to speak. Now you got here what? Wa lagar, and to stranger. Wa is and, la is to, gar is stranger, and to stranger, hagar, the sojourn or sojourner. So there sojourns among you. So walagar hagar. So now you understand the difference within these few verses of the actual stranger, Nakar, which you see here in 1243, Ban Nakar. It says, there shall no stranger eat thereof, which is the Ban Nakar, or the actual stranger. And you see the difference between the stranger that sojourns among us, that keeps the Passover, which is Gar or Gawar, which is a variation of the word gar. Okay? So now you understand that within these few verses, you have an example of both of them, and this is actually correct, which goes hand in hand with the lesson that Elder Gabar did. And I believe maybe like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I did a lesson on the Masoretes, and I kind of covered some of the similar points that he covered, but my lesson was a little longer because I went into a lot more examples, but Elder Gabar condensed it and made it a lot shorter, and which is actually better because Jake, they don't like their attention span is but only so big or so much. All right, so with that, I hope you brothers understood. I hope you brothers learned something out of this lesson and out of Elder Gabar's lesson and all the lessons that are taught from Elder Tahar on down. To the next time, I say shalom.